the achievements of women and our collective wisdom. Tonight, I'd like to share with you the story of a most incredible woman. She was born August 6, 1906. She gave birth to 9 children, but due to smallpox and other illnesses for which vaccines weren't available at the time, only 4 of those children survived. When she gave birth to the youngest, a boy, she was 40 years old, and in 1946, that was a near medical miracle that both she and the child survived. She was 44 years old when war broke out in her country. Soldiers raided her village, forcing her to flee with her husband and 4-year-old son. Her daughters, who were 17, 28, and 30 years old, were in other parts of the village. The danger for them was not as immediate. Her husband, though, was targeted because he was a wealthy landowner. So she, her husband, and their young son fled for their lives. For days, they went without food or water. Around them, they saw people dying. As they walked and walked and walked, she thought about her daughters. How she tried to protect them from being raped or kidnapped when foreign invaders stormed through their village. How she'd hidden them in giant clay jars until the danger had passed, but now they were fending for themselves. These are the thoughts that went through her mind. These are the thoughts that went through her mind as she walked. These are the thoughts that went through her mind as she walked with her husband and 4-year-old son. After 3 long months, they finally reached safety in the South. She wanted to go back to their daughters and bring them to safety too, but they couldn't. That village from which she escaped is Hwanghae province in what is now North Korea. And that woman, Han Tae-ah, is my grandmother. She was 68 years old when she passed away, heartbroken, not knowing whether her daughters were dead or alive. She was unable to see my father get married, have children of his own, 3 girls and a boy. She was unable to see him move to America. I never got to meet my grandmother, and while her story is a tragic one, it's also a tale of inspiration, perseverance, and courage. When she was forced to start over, she was 44 years old, just a couple of years older than I am now. My father said I have her spirit. She must have had a stubborn streak. I've been thinking about my ancestors a lot lately, and not just because the Korean Peninsula has been in the news, but because of the traits they possess that I want to emulate. The courage it took to start over, coming from relative wealth in the North to living in dire poverty in the South. The perseverance to eke out a living to support her son, the strength it must have taken to wrestle down the unimaginable sense of loss over leaving her daughters behind. I think about how she had to innovate, how she had to adapt, how she had to learn to be resourceful. And when I think about how my grandmother persevered and overcame, it gives me courage to know that in my DNA, I have what it takes to do the same. And I know that I'm not the only person in this room who's here today because great women before us paved the way that we might do mighty things. And I want you to know this. When you're feeling overwhelmed, feeling small or scared, when a male coworker is threatened by your promotion, and when the trolls rear their hateful heads in the comment section, which you're not supposed to read, by the way, I want you to know that your ancestors, biological and adopted, they persevered, so you can too. You can innovate, you can persevere, you can keep going.